What's up, everybody? I'm going to be getting started here in just a moment. It's not going to be 4 minutes, it's probably like 2.5. I just have to run them upstairs, grab a mouse. We're going to be talking about some charts. We're going to be talking about what's going on with the price action, Bitcoin, Solana, Quant, AVAX, Cardano, Ethereum, and more. So everybody hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell. We're going to be getting going here in just a moment. So everybody, let's get this chat flowing. I want to see your emojis in here. I want to see how you're feeling. What was the best gift that you gave? Not that you got. What'd you give? Did you give time? Did you give something thoughtful? Let me know in the chat. Let me know what you're thinking, what you're feeling. We're going to be getting going here in just a few minutes. All right. We got 55 people in the room. Everybody, 18 likes. Everybody hit that like button. We're going to get going here in just a second. Hope you're all feeling good. Hope not everybody's working today. I'm here with you because I love you. Let's go ahead and talk about what we're going to talk about today, baby. What's up, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Wherever you are tuned in from, welcome back to the BitLab Academy daily stream. Hope you're all doing good. Hope you all had a wonderful holiday. Wherever you're at, whatever you celebrate, hope you're doing well. Hope you're feeling good. Hope you felt like you gave something, not just looked for gifts. Hope you were more thoughtful about the gifts that you were giving, because that's what this world's about. It's about giving, right? So everybody, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell. We're going to talk about some stuff today. We're going to be talking about these charts. I see we got a lot of people here in the house, a lot of regular names. We got a lot of members in the house. I want to see all the members out there. Drop your emojis. Let me know what you're feeling. Let me know what you're thinking. Do you think this market's going to be dipping from here? Do you think it's going to pump from here? And I mean over the course of this week? Do you think we're going to break below the range? Let me know what you're thinking. My name's Kellam. Welcome to the show. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button and join us here. We got a wonderful community. My mouse, for some reason, is not working. I swapped mice, and it's still, for some reason, it's... Has anybody ever had that before, where you go to move your mouse and the mouse itself is not... It's moving very slowly? I don't know, whatever. I can just do it with my trackpad today. So let's go ahead and dive right in. If you haven't yet, make sure you head over to my Twitter page right here, at Kellam, Kelly, Again, I only call these out specifically because there's a lot of fake accounts out there. I want to make sure you're not getting following a fake scammer account. Also, make sure you're following BitLab Academy here at Academy BitLab. Everybody, let me know. Throw a 1 in chat if audio, visual, everything's good. It always gets funky when I go back and forth between my home setup and the studio setup. Shout out Matt C. I see my boy in here. Good to see you in here. Shout out to all the members. I see you all with the beakers next to your names. Big love to each and every one of you. Hope you're feeling well. Now, the couple things I want to talk about before we dive in. We're going to be looking at a bunch of different charts here today. We're going to be doing some TA. We're going to be breaking some things down. But I also want to talk a little bit about a couple things. We talked a little bit about this on the Discover Crypto, but this is just par for the course with XRP. They have a schedule by which they release stuff every month. And so this is one of the reasons why I also think that I don't want to call the price suppressed, but it hasn't really run. Everybody's saying all this positive news about that happened in the summertime around XRP and the rulings between the SEC and all the different things that were happening with that. Why is it not running? Why is XRP not exploding? Well, you also have to take into consideration when that was. That was middle of the summer when the market was not yet really exploding, especially with alts as it has in the last couple months. And there's a weird sort of psychological narrative that happens around that. Well, it's not running, it must not be worth it. Now all this other stuff's running, so capital's flowing towards those other things. And again, it's one of those things that we need to pay attention to, where our capital is being allocated within our portfolio, how we're diversifying our portfolios, but also remembering that narratives take shape in bizarre ways. Whether it's, we had the DeFi summer, we had the gaming, we had that gaming run, we had the AI run, we've had a number of different runs through different periods of time in different parts of the market cycle. So where we're at right now with XRP, we'll look at it on TA in a little bit. I think these stories, I don't want to call it a non-story, but it's something that's shaping the psychology of the market more than it having an impact on what's really going on. We also see that we have this deadline that is December 29th regarding the updates with all the different amendments that these 14 different Bitcoin spot ETFs can do. And again, this is something everybody's been talking about. I'm sure you're aware of it. If not, then tune in here more often. Tune in, get some news, get some ideas about what's going on in this market, because I do think these Bitcoin spot ETFs are going to have a huge impact on not only Bitcoin, but the broader market as well. And when we're seeing all these things right on the horizon, probably sometime in January, this idea about when it's going to happen has shifted over time and leaned more towards March, and then maybe by the end of the year. And now it's, really likely. It's feeling very likely it's going to be sometime, around the January 10th sort of time frame. And will all 14 get approved? No, but I do think there's going to be probably somewhere between 5 and 9. Let's say 7. Will get approved at the same time, or if not within 24 to 72 hours of each other, so nobody gets a first mover advantage. And the truth is, the likelihood of a Bitcoin spot ETF having a chance that isn't part of that first group is very, very, very almost nil. Whoever is in that first group are going to be the dominant forces for the spot ETF capital flow. So it's going to be very interesting to see who gets that. I think it's very likely going to be Grayscale and BlackRock and ARK Invest, 21 shares, and among a few others. But I think those three players are going to more likely than not be a part of that grouping. Now, coming on to the next story here. Okay, we're going to start seeing this a lot more coming over the next 6 months to a year, especially with where we're at in the market. We've seen this in the past where big athletes go out there and sign major contracts, and they've done it in the past in Bitcoin. And unfortunately, they didn't have somebody like us. They didn't have somebody like you. They didn't have somebody that understood the market cycles of Bitcoin. And so they'll take a payment they have historically, or I don't want to say have historically, but in the past, some of those payments have been taken in places like this, or like, let's go, hold on, let me go to the weekly. So like in these sorts of regions to where maybe they went up for a little bit, but then the price just came down and the value of their contract just diminished over time. And it all depends on whether or not they sold, right? Because if somebody took a payout in Bitcoin up here and they sold down here, then they got astronomically low numbers on that. But what we're going to see, not only with athletes, this is going to be one of those things that's actually going to be a positive press talking point for Bitcoin and other digital assets too. But in this case, for Bitcoin, if there's artist contracts being signed with where we're at right now, pre-halving, remember, pre-halving over here, we see what happens post-halving. So while we may feel like, man, we've had such a big run, any of you that have been in the market for any period of time know that this is, you ain't seen nothing yet, okay? And so this is going to be one of those things, if there are athletes out there that do this, it's going to be positive, I think, for the space, because as you see the value of those contracts go up over time, because the value of the asset by which the contract was signed, aka Bitcoin, this would be a very positive thing. Now, anybody out there that knows any professional athletes or has a business and you're talking about doing any contracts in Bitcoin or any other crypto, I do think it warrants consideration always. Yes, I think Bitcoin's great, but is it always going to be the best thing to sign towards? It depends on what your strategy and outlook is and your time horizon by which when you want to extract fiat money from converting that contract asset to dollars or Australian dollars or Canadian dollars or euro or whatever it is. It's very dependent on where you're at in this market cycle as it relates to where the halving is. Great time to sign a contract using crypto. Terrible time to sign a contract for crypto. Unless you have, a 3 to 5 year outlook that you're not going to take anything, you're not going to convert anything because the value of that contract is going to go down over time. Where we're at right now, we're in that magic zone right now. And I still think Bitcoin is going to have a little bit of a retracement. I still think we're going to test some price action a little bit lower than where we're at right now. Does that mean it's Bitcoin's a terrible asset? No, it means that it's going to do what it's done in previous cycles. And it's going to be interesting to see where that flush out to the downside is. What if we don't even get it? That's something we have to pay attention to. Because looking at this, it looks like we're trading sideways, a bit in a range here. We're a bit in a range. It's a little bit of a ascending triangle. If we look at it like this, it's not an ascending triangle, a little bit of a symmetrical, it's a little bit of a ascending triangle. The support level rising, the level of resistance up here feels flat. But if you really look at this, option T, get yourself a trend line. This is angled to the downside. You see this? So that's why I'm saying it's kind of an ascending triangle, kind of a symmetrical triangle. Either way, what we're seeing is price action on Bitcoin is ranging between these two zones. And I do think one of these, I do think this range is going to be broken. I don't know if it's going to be broken here before the end of the year, which it's the 26th now. We got 5 days, right? 5 days for that. If we're thinking it might be broken, I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to more likely than not explore it within this range. And then I do think at some point we're going to have a flush out to the downside, bear trap, and then move to the upside. We'll see if that happens. If it doesn't happen, great. We could take advantage of the price action bullishly. If it does break out this way, we'll wait for a little bit of a retrace find our entry, and move to the upside. Now, continuing on here, boom. I just want to look at some macro things before we really dive into everything else. We got 96 people in the room, only 35 likes. Everybody hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, join us here. I'm wondering, can we get to 10,000 subscribers here on BitLab Academy? We're right here, 9,720 something. It's like 721 or something like that. Can we break 10,000 by the end of the year? Everybody hit that subscribe button, join us here. Let's drive that up. In under a year, 10,000 subscribers. I think that'd be phenomenal. Now, global liquidity still looks like it's on the rise. It looks like it's having a little bit of a breather right here. A little push up, a little bit of drawback, a little bit more push up, but it's not really following through. Man. But this is the support of that large move that we most recently had. We're going to want to really watch what's happening with global liquidity coming into Q1 and Q2, because this is going to have a big impact also on what is the monetary policy around everything that's going on, especially coming into this election cycle year. Now we have these, larger global conflicts. We have these larger global conflicts that are taking place, and there becomes more and more of a reason that, quote unquote, makes sense for those people out there that are just completely jacking up our dollar and printing it into oblivion. We have more and more reason. I feel like there's like a hair or something in there. That's why my mouse isn't working. More and more reason for them to print. And if they print, then that's going to drive inflation up again. It's not going to happen immediately, but it's going to be that sustained process. The trend is your friend until it ends, right? Well, the trend on the US dollar is not our friend unless you're talking about Bitcoin, because the trend of the dollar performing, basically going down, being devalued over time, is our friend for Bitcoin, because it only strengthens the case for Bitcoin, right? But at the end of the day, none of us want our friends and family and other people that aren't involved in crypto. We don't want people to have a harder time living. That's essentially what's happening every time they print. So we're going to want to pay attention to what's happening with this global liquidity, and also regards to what's happening with money printing, because this will have a big impact on the value of the dollar. And remember, when we're looking at, let me actually pull this up. When we're looking at the value of a risk asset like Bitcoin, we want to pay attention to what's happening with those other signals. If we come over here to load layout, hold on, it disappeared. Trad markets, here we go. All right. We really want to pay attention to what's happening. What I was just speaking of was the dollar, the DXY. DXY is a dollar index. And what we're seeing here, and we talked about this a lot last week, we're talking about market cycles and understanding where you're at in market cycles, and remembering that a market cycle isn't just the monthly or the weekly or the daily. A market cycle can happen on the 1 minute, the 5 minute, the 15 minute, the 2 hour, the 5 hours. In this case, we're looking at the 12 hour. We can also look at this on the daily. This is the dollar. That we're seeing a full market cycle happening here. We have a market cycle low right here on this time frame, all the way up to a market cycle high. Although, and this is a full market cycle that's coming back down. The question is going to be, are we going to form a higher high here or a lower high? Is this going to continue breaking down and lose past the 100 level and break below this? Why does this matter? We want to talk about crypto. We want to talk about Bitcoin. The reason why this matters is because this gives us an indication about where the risk mentality is for the market. So in reality, what we want to see is this perfect storm of everything happening right now with the institutions, the fair value accounting, the spot ETFs, the halving. Everything feels like it's lining up. And if we also see the dollar continue to fall, then that relieves one more bit of pressure off the top of the bulls, gives them a little bit of a jetpack, and allows them to really see those assets push forward. So this is why when we're looking at global liquidity and we're looking at the dollar, we're looking at this not because I really specifically care about what's happening with global liquidity and the dollar. No, I care because it gives me indication about what markets what may likely be coming for markets. Now, we still have this level. All of these major moving averages. We talked about it before: the short-term holder cost basis, the 21-week moving average, and the 200-day moving average. All of them now are looks like above this previous high. And remember, we were talking, if we do get for some reason a large pullback, then we're going to want to watch what happens when the price comes down. Is it going to be this level, or are all three of these moving average, which can be a barrier to lower prices, meaning if these all get, all the way up into this region up here, say this price action holds here for a while, and these move up into this region, then maybe we don't come all the way down and touch this because we have three large areas of interest that can act as support. So this is strengthening the bullish case the higher this gets in terms of where price action may pull back to. And remember, when we're trying to identify what's going to happen, yes, I'm very bullish right now, but by being bullish, I don't allow myself to ignore bearish possibilities. Because if I'm bullish, then I can look at bearish price action in a smaller time frame. For instance, here we're looking, at a larger time frame. But if we get down here and we're looking at the price action here on, the 2 hour, and we see the price action moving down, we get a bearish trend, a bearish sort of cycle on the 2 hour coming down, forming a new low from here. Then if I'm bullish on the macro, then I know on the smaller time frame, on the midterm or on the micro time frame, then if I'm bullish on the macro, then I know that I can find an area to find an entry below the price that we're at now. So downside price action from where we're at right now actually is a very bullish opportunity. So I'm not worried if price goes down because I already got it sort of mapped out on the chart. Let me check over here. Let me check over here on the chat. How's everybody doing? How you feeling? We got Crypto Chef in here raising the hand. We got dropped internet connection, always here. The best year ever will be 2024. I agree with that. If you guys are excited for 2024, let me know. What are you most excited for in your life? What are you most excited for in your crypto? What are you most excited for in your hobbies and your passions? We got to be a community here. Let's share these things. I know I'm happy to still be standing. I'm happy to still be building with you guys. I'm happy that we built a community of over 10,000 are up right at about 10,000, not over. We're not over yet, but we will be. 10,000 people in under a year. I think we started, what was it, in February, very into January, February. And all of you come back here on a daily basis and we built a community. I even played my guitar for you guys last week because you asked me to. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's got to be a broader range of things, not just crypto, but crypto is what this channel is focused on: tools, resources, and strategy. So let's dive back in here. And again, I have to do this with the trackpad because the mouse, for some reason, is just not working on this. It's very bizarre. Let me turn off Bluetooth. And let me turn it back on. Let's see if this works. Yeah, it's weird. It just doesn't work. All right. So let's go ahead and look at what we want to look at. This is the range that we are looking at. Let's close off some of this stuff. And this is really what I'm looking at right here. And so these levels, this descending trend line here that we've rejected off of, if we turn on the BitLab volume, let's go back out to the 4 hour. The BitLab volume, there we go. We have this 2 order blocks directly above our head here that we've tapped into a couple times. Now, not only that, we also have this descending resistance right above us. This is now breaking down, and we could see this was likely going to play out because this entire time with where we're at here and where we're at here, see these 2 price levels, this high and we have a much higher high. At the same zone, we have the stochastics higher and then lower. And then in addition to that, once this gets up to this level, the momentum wave is still moving to the upside, but it's starting to move down very precipitously as this price is still holding in this zone until we ultimately lose the trend signal line, which is right here. Sorry, I'm still a little sick from last week. We have this line right here. See, we test it to the downside, push back above it. Now, this is one of those signals that I really like to use, especially when we're thinking about when we want to take a trade or not take a trade. We look at the price action and we want to use the data on the chart. The chart gives us all this data. And it's something I call the stoplight action protocol, where we're looking for green lights, we're looking for yellow lights, we're looking for red lights. And all of these are comprised of multiple different data points. And the 3 most characteristic data points I like to use to see where we're at is what's the candle structure, where are we at in relationship to a trend line, whether it's a resistance, which is an area that we might reject off of, or support, an area that we might bounce off of, as we see here. Okay. And where is the price action? How is the price action acting in relationship to the underlying data signals? If we're using the BitLab trend fuel here on the BitLab trading stack, we can see, just like I was showing right here, price action this level, and then we have a higher level of price action here. Whereas the stochastics in the same period of time, man, I cannot stop coughing. The price stochastics, this orange line right here, we can see the price level here is much higher here on the secondary one, where the stochastics is much lower. And then as the price action cannot carry through, the bulls cannot carry it through. This means that as we're getting up into this level, we're getting a bit of a yellow light. It's not saying green, it's not saying red, because we're seeing the underlying strength is weaker than the price action actually moved. So that's like a cautionary thing. So as price action is just sort of bouncing around here, then what we're getting, the yellow can actually be a setup. The yellow can actually be a setup. And I'm thinking about this visually, right? So this is saying this tried to push higher, but the underlying strength is not giving me a green light to go ahead for a breakthrough, right? So on this case, when the price action comes down, find support on this trend signal line. When we come back up, we're getting rejected right, not only about where this resistance level is, but also right about where this 20 moving average is. And then what do? We come down, we lose it. Now we get rejected at the 20 moving average, the smaller moving average that we see right in here. So when we lose this again, now we're getting rejected right here. So what we're setting up is, if we're talking about longs, then this is red light, no go. This is not going to, the likelihood of this continuing to the upside is very small, because especially as this price action is coming here, we see the RSI, the purple line here, is coming down and down, down. The momentum wave, this wave here, is coming down. So what we see is, as this gets rejected again right in this zone, then we're looking for the setup for maybe a move in the opposite direction. So then in this case, we maybe have a red light for price action continuing higher, but maybe that red light is also a setup for a green light for a short or a take profit from a lower entry for a long that we took. So as this moves into this region, gets rejected, and we come here and we lose this level right in here, that was a great opportunity to exit a traded position. Remember, I'm not talking about long-term plays. I'm talking about trading here. And we move down, we bounce on the weekly VWAP, come back up. We're getting rejected right at these previous lows. And that is your entry right here on the rejection here when the candles break down below these candle closures, especially on this 4 hour. And then what do we get? Price action is moving to the downside. So do I think this is going to continue? Well, the level I'm watching for is we have not come down and flushed down here since back here, December 17th. We've had a lot of movement to the upside. We're watching for price action to potentially, we're finding some support right here. Previous low, also this order block right here. I'm looking for maybe a little bit of a bounce to the upside, and then likely test down into the lower side of this order block range, and also this support, rising level of support down here. So likely the 41.4 sort of region. But we're going to have to see if this can hold this level and push up, find support, push up and re-attack this level. Then we could talk about the breakout. The next move coming out of this is a potential breakout. But as it stands right now, there's still plenty of room in this market structure. There's still plenty of room. And if we measure this out, press shift, click on the chart. I mean, this isn't even at the apex. That's still 15 days, and that's not even the apex. The apex, meaning the point at which these two lines intersect, would be, let's see. This just gives us a general idea of time frame to be watching. So 21 days, that's if we go all the way to the apex. And this is a likelihood. Remember, this is a scenario. So as it stands right now, if I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing, I'm looking at the 4 hour chart, and this is looking like it's rolled over. It's finding support right now. So do we have a signal for any trade? Well, let's get down to the smaller time frame, get some better resolution. 1 hour. Well, this is looking like bullish impulse, larger bullish impulse. weaker bullish impulse. So there's a little bit of a head and shoulders here. So the price action on this is telling me that this is likely trying to explore a little bit of the downside from here. And this target would be a little bit further down. And this, look, this is getting down to that area, the bottom side of that order block. We zoom in on this. Come on, computer. There we go. You see this? And that's based on this price structure that's happening right here. I still think this is likely going to come down a little bit further. Now, what are we doing with this? To me, this is this sort of cool off period because this was explosive. This move, I mean, from here, I mean, that's a 67% move since October. Woo, 67% move. Now, if we look at just this move right here, we're right in this region. That's a 20% move. So it makes sense that as we're sitting here right now, that the price action is ranging. It's within this pattern, I should say. It's ranging within this support and resistance in this pattern. And it makes sense. It makes sense, especially coming into the end of the year, especially with all the things on the horizon. So we need to be a little bit patient right now and let the price action determine to us what direction it's going to move from here. Let's go ahead and look at a couple other altcoins. I want to look at Ethereum. Okay, let's get out to the 4-hour. Double click here. Okay, so look, same thing, kind of ranging here on Ethereum as well. And we have a very similar pattern in this case, that we have a falling level of resistance. Let's delete this. There we go. Falling level of resistance. Is this a trend line right here? Bit of a trend line right there. Rising level of support, and look, it looks like it's trying to test this region right here. We can draw this a little bit better, maybe like this. Now, well, in this case, with these wicks, this is already broken out to the downside. But I'm more of a fan of a slightly larger trend line here that covers a little bit more time. It's gonna have more of an impact on being a potential support. So this kind of looks like it right here. So we have this trend line right here. We have this resistance level right above us. We're exploring this level right now. Stochastics angled to the downside. Look at this. We got the triangle right here on the BitLab Trend Fuel right as we were coming into this peak, showing that the momentum had sort of hit an apex there. The RSI is coming down into this. You see this? The RSI from right here. The RSI is starting to come down right here as the price action is still trying to push higher. So we're getting signals within the chart when we pay attention. And so what's happening right now is this is just similar sort of cool off period, which is interesting because Ethereum did not move nearly as much as Bitcoin, but the sort of health of what's happening in the crypto market is kind of being dictated a little bit by all the speculation that's in Bitcoin right now around all these spot ETFs. So we're going to want to watch here. If I had to bet on this one, let's see, let's go down to the 1 hour. This is looking relatively weak. We have two bullish divergences here on the BitLab Trend Fuel right here. RSI bullish divergence, momentum bullish divergence. But we saw right here, this resulted in a pretty small scalp up into this trend line and came back down. So this is looking mixed bag. Why? Because here on the BitLab Trend Fuel, 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 6 of these signals are looking bearish. The stochastics are angled to the downside right now. RSI is looking weak. It's down here at the 27%. There's no meaningful money flow that's happening right here. It was positive, but now it's just chopping back and forth. And most importantly, this is looking like, if I zoom in on this on like a 15-minute or 24-minute, this is looking like the momentum's trying to round out back to the downside. So let's go ahead and look at that. Yeah, you see, you could tell because this is angled to the downside. Negative money flow, stochastics couldn't quite low. I'll be watching. I'm not saying this is going to break down. I'd be watching this level right in this region for either a potential bounce here or a potential breakthrough, retest, and continuation of the downside. If Bitcoin is exploring further down, I think Ethereum will as well. And look at these calls. I mean, you guys got to get the BitLab trading stack, man. Use these on different time frames. Get your calls very clearly here on the chart for what's going on. So yeah, there's attempts for bullishness and it's just not following through. And we see, look at this. Look at all these bearish divergences. These little numbers, if you put your mouse over them, bearish money flow, bearish on balance volume, bearish stochastics, Chaikin money flow, bearish demand index, on balance volume, bearish RSI. This is just telling you right here. This is trying to move to the downside. Now look at this. While we're watching this live, this is coming right to this level. And look at this. We have this order block that's right at this level that we're sitting on right now. So will this be the barrier? If we're looking at this is a 5-minute chart though. So let's look at this 24-minute. I'll be watching this area. If this area is lost, this trend line that we're at right here, I'm watching for I'm watching for, see this level. If we slide this out here, bounce, a lot of support in here. There's a support regions right in here, bounce right here, bounce right here. So if we do lose this area, I'm looking down at the 2169 level. If we lose that, then I think we're coming down here to the 2125. This is on the 24-minute chart. I was wondering why the air ranges are so close. This would be ultimately bullish, especially right here. If we come down and test this level, this is a previous high. So if we can bounce here, maybe this is a bear trap and continues to the upside. But as it stands right now, I'm feeling like things are going to maybe try to shake people out towards the end of the year. So if we do come down and we lose this level, we've got plenty of levels below us to be watching. If we lose this level, then coming down here, I think 2000 will likely be that area that will be a strong bouncing point. If we lose that level, then watch for opportunities to buy, because I think once we lose 2000, if we lose 2000 on Ethereum, I think there's going to be some cascading liquidations that's going to move very quickly and then get bought up very quickly. So this is where you get your dream order set. You get some good opportunities, buy order down here at this $1,900 mark. Yeah. Potentially even lower. 1700, 1770, I should say, not 1700. But again, this is more of a dream buy bullish opportunity, right? If we're able to hold in this region and bounce up from any breakdown here, then again, I'm waiting for the traps to start playing out, because there's such a bull market around the corner. Say that again. I wish I could just stop being sick. With everything that's happening with the price action right now, I'm waiting for the opportunity of bearish price action. And I think there are going to be traps. I think there's going to be some instances where there's going to be some cascading long liquidations, a squeeze where price action moves very quickly to the downside. And for those of you that have a strategy in place and you have orders in the market already, you're going to be able to take advantage of those buy opportunities and don't get shaken out because price starts moving down and get chopped out of this market. The market's going to do everything it can to take advantage of those of you that don't have a strategy, because there's such an incredible bull market coming. It's on the horizon. It's right there. Don't let your capital slip out of your fingertips because you traded away with poor strategy. Be patient. Get your strategy in place. Get your orders set and be willing to hold when you buy, because I think this 2024 year, this bull market that's coming, is going to absolutely blow people away. I do think so. I do believe so. Now, coming back here, let's look at quant. How many of you are quant holders? I love me some quant. And man, did this have a move over the weekend. Look at this on the 1 hour chart. This was down here at 113. It was even lower than that. Thursday last week, it was 105. I can't even look at that. I can't even get all the way up there. I can't even get up there. It's so close to 100. You could just look at the dollar value. It basically went up about 50%. 46, 45% to the upside. So this is getting a little hot. Doesn't mean it can't keep going, but Solana moved, Quant moved, AVAX has moved. I mean, a lot of coins have been moving a lot. And you see this move alone right here, that was a 27% move. It was somewhere in this move. Is this Saturday, Sunday? Yeah, it was Sunday. Sunday, I believe, is when I took that 66% gain on Quant. It was within this move here. I got in and out, and then, you know, now I'm just sitting on the sidelines because this is also looking a little bit like a broadening wedge. So we have a little bit of a story here saying that there's a little bit, now it's coming down into the support level right here on this broadening wedge, which is also in line with where this weekly VWAP is. So maybe this makes another attempt to push higher that doesn't quite get all the way up here and then rolls over, forms a head and shoulders, and then gives us an opportunity for for those that haven't entered to take advantage of. Look at this, and this would come down to roughly about where these previous lows were. Okay, so that's what we do. We take advantage of what the price action is doing when the narrative is starting to look weak. Then we take advantage of getting our strategy in place to buy when this weakness makes a support level, the bottom fall out from it, and the price action come down, and you get that opportunity. Now, if this does bounce here, again, we're going to have to watch to see when this pushes up. We're going to really be watching right here if the price action, on a rebound up here, if we can take out this high, then maybe we have an opportunity to go higher. But I think it's more likely than not on quant that if this does bounce up in here, that will more likely form a head and shoulders, and this will likely start moving to the downside. We also see this on the stochastics. I'm on the 3-day here. Look at this move. Look at this move. Now, I want you to see where price action is back here, and price action is right here. So look at the stochastics here, and look at the lower high on stochastics here. And so this is showing a little bit of weakness coming into this level, and we're right in line with where, look at this, we were testing this previous range, semi-range highs here. We didn't quite get up all the way up here into the 160s, but we got into this range. We have an order block in this zone. So this could stand a little bit of a cooling off. So where could it go? Well, we got this level right here. See all these range lows and this range high right in here. So if we do get a retrace to the downside, then it wouldn't stand to reason that it would be so out of context. People don't want to hear this because they want their assets only to go up. But if you want your assets to go up, then you also need to stack those assets. And this is how you can stack it. If you had this move up, especially if you're trading any leverage, you take some profit, not all of it, move profit into your long-term hold portfolio, leave some of that profit in your trading portfolio so your trading portfolio grows. And then on any retrace here, I'm watching for a 131. And if we lose that, then really come down here to 121 would be ultimately a great opportunity. Let's see where that is in relationship to the Fibonacci. So bottom to top. Look at that. This level right here is perfectly in line. Let me turn off the BitLab volume with where the golden pocket is right here at the 121 to 123. So you can see a level on the price action is in agreement with the Fibonacci level, which tells us that's the level we should be watching. So great opportunity if price comes back to this level. Now, what else did we want to look at? AVAX. AVAX in a rising wedge. See this? Rising wedge on AVAX. I do this really quick on my phone. Oops. This is very hard to do with the trackpad. So we got a little bit of a rising wedge here, and we're testing the lower bound of this right now. If we lose this, then I'm watching for potential price action to come back into this, right where this point of control is, really. Come down here into the $40 range, which is $4 down. So that's a 10% loss, right? Is that how the math, that's how math works, right? 7%, 7-8%. And we can revisit it from there. I think things are going to be more setting up for accumulation, people buying these dips if this does come down. If we come down and we lose this $40, $39 range, then I do think that we have an opportunity to look for prices, a bit lower. So let's look right here. So we have this $30 range right here, which is why the previous high. See, is there another range? Not really. So that $30 range would be a great, man, that would be a good buy opportunity. Now let's see right here, option F, go from the bottom to the top. And look at this, $31, $32 is the golden pocket of this full move, which is also where all this price action was right here. So this range, to me, the chart is telling me that this would be a good opportunity if the price action does drop somewhere in this region, $30 to $33 region would be a great opportunity. And it feels like the end of the world when it's happening, but when you have a plan, you're like, run, drop, 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 drop. You want it to drop when you have these markets, these targets set out. That's a 27% drop from here. And so now we have different areas outlined for AVAX. If this does drop, we have the 382, which is right where that point of control just was, you saw, right at the $39, $40 level. We have another level down here where all these lows are right here at the 0.5, 36, and then the 33. So if you want to break up your entries, there you go. And let's look at XRP. How many of you guys are still super holders, super bullish on XRP? You're all in it, like you can't wait for XRP to run. Let me know in the chat, in the comments right now, and comment down below. I'm looking at the chat now, trying to do it more often here while we're talking. Let's see. All right, so XRP, it's just, let's see. So you see this run back in July. This ran before everything, which is why everybody's like now, like, why is it not moving? Because it already had its capital flow moment in this part of the market cycle. And now it's just been cooling off from that. Remember, this is similar things that we're going to see in Quant and AVAX and Solana. I don't think it's going to have this big of a drop because this was also when the markets weren't performing super well. Now the markets are performing a lot better. But I do think we're going to be getting those pretty big drops. But that was a pretty big drop. That was a 46% drop. And where we're at right now, look at this. We've got, it's just chopping around in the zone. If we come down and test this level again, this is a 57 mark. If we lose this level, I do think that we're going to come down and test a little bit lower. But we do have XRP. This is where I'll be watching. If we lose this level, it'll be right down here at the 54 level. If we lose this, maybe you get an opportunity at 46. But I think this would be the extent of it if the price action went down, unless there was some change in regulation and Gary Gensler and all that. If we're able to take this out, then I'm really watching for us when we finally take out the 73 cent, 73, 74 cent region, and then 80 cents, 80 to 83 cent sort of zone, I think is going to be the zone that once we take this out, we're going to be on our way, up to this $1.30 sort of region. But the dollar, yeah, you can't ignore the dollar mark. 80 cents means we're really starting to work our way to the upside. Dollar is going to be a little bit of a hurdle, and then $1.30. Next step after that is a dollar. What is that? $1.86. Holy moly! That's what I'm feeling on these markets. I'm thinking we're going to get a little bit of a flush, and I'm excited. I'm excited if we don't get that. I'm excited if the market just runs away. But that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm feeling. You guys, let me know. What do you? Can we see near? Tiggle Biddies said he wants to see near. Yeah, I actually meant to show that. So let's bring it up. So near. I mean, golly. So when did I do Didi Taihutu, the Bitcoin family? When I had his interview, I think it was in August. I asked him what coin he thinks people should be looking at for this next bull market. He said it. He said it on this stream. On the interview we did on this stream, he said Near Protocol he thinks is going to do astronomically well in this next bull cycle, and we're already starting to see signs of that. I mean, this has moved 365%. Man, it's a percent per day of the year, baby. And this did this in the matter of, let's see, 2 months, 365%. Holy moly. But now this is starting to look like it's what do we notice here when we see this? Expansion, little reset. Smaller expansion, a little reset. Smaller expansion, a little reset. So this is looking at the daily. What are we looking like at the 4 hour? So look, see how this is starting to roll over a little bit? We're going to want to watch of taking out, look at this, a weekly VWAP and the trend signal line are right here at the 4.11, $4.11, $4.12. If we take this out, we're going to want to watch this right here. This is this high and this low. Potential fake out to the downside continuation. If we lose this, then I think that we can do a Fibonacci, option F. Golden pocket all the way down here at $3. So yeah, we're testing that right now. Might be, is it something we should short? Let's see. Ooh, look at her go. Part of me wants to jump on a falling knife and short it. But as soon as you do that, it just continues dropping. But we see this is taking that line out that we were just talking about as we looked at it. And I said, if it takes this line out, watch for a little bit of a move to the downside. Look at that move. High selling volume. This is purple candle. And look at where we're at right now. Previous high right here. So not only is it right here, it's also over here. See this? Boom and boom. So if we bounce here and come up, I'm watching for a retest and then a continuation to the downside is what I'd be looking for near right now. But you see, I feel the same things you do. I looked at this and part of me was like, drop a short on this right now. But this is what happens. It commits people to going short only for price action to reverse and come back up. Why do I have this on bright mode? Golly. So we're going to want to watch this zone right here. By the way, on Blofin, you can still use a lot of the same quick keys. So option T, give me a trend line, you see? So we're going to see this level right here. And we can also do option F from the top here to the bottom of that wick. See the bottom of the wick right here? And where's price action coming into? Came right up. Look at this. Right at the golden pocket, the 0.618. So we're going to want to watch here. Is this going to be a continuation to the downside now? We were talking about that. I can't believe we just did that. I was like, listen, if it loses this trend signal line, it's likely going to make a little bit of a move. So we're going to want to watch right here. This could be a fake out. We're going to watch what happens in this region, but I do think we're going to have some price action a little bit down to the downside. Because why? You could see this on the chart before it happened. This was rolling over like this. And then support gets weak and it's going to come down, potentially do something like this. That's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm feeling. Big love to each and every one of you. I appreciate you. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Show some love to the channel. And I really appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you all have a wonderful day. I have to write the newsletter, BitLab newsletter. And I'll see you guys in tomorrow's stream. That's all I got. Adios. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Thank you for always tuning in. Hit that like button, sucker.